So creating custom tag libraries involves few things. What you need to do is that um, we really need to write particular Java code. Java code. And before this, okay, usage rules. Let me. What else I have? Oops. Okay. Okay. Components of tag library. Okay. This guy is mean the topics in this particular presentation. So yeah. So the things that we make, in the tag library is that first thing is a tag handler. Okay, one particular class, and that usually should support, either we extend, tag support class or body tag support class. Body tag support, that particular class is about, even, if as I have shown you in case of a HTML, here my tag is there, and then that has the body of the tag, this is the internal, this is the body. So body itself has something else to be evaluated. So if you need to provide that kind of support, then we need to go with body tag support. Okay, so the class is, same way as, it's a regular other servlets or, any other class. And then we write a TLD file, tag library descriptor, TLD, tag library descriptor, and either we make that into we usually bundle the jar as a jar, or we can even, bundle the file into WebINF folder. Okay, the TLD file, sorry. If you bundle, then your jar class, sorry, the Java tag handler, then your TLD file will go into a jar file, Java archive, right? And if otherwise, the way I show, it will be as part of regular project. I will not bundle as a jar or everything, right? And then in the JSP page, we import the tag library, and we define, prefix and use the tag. So the three different steps: tag handler, then tag handler is a Java class. It's a plain Java class. Then there is a TLD, and in the JSP file you import and use it. So the benefit of a tag library is that, I did discuss that yesterday. The implementation is something, some sample looks like this. Okay, then public class simple prime tag. This is about printing the primary number. TLD file. Look at the TLD file. It looks like this. Tag library file. It looks like this. You say that there is an XML TLD XML file. Here I say tag and tag class. Okay. And in the JSP file, we use, we specify the TLD path, and use it. See here. And just use of it, simple. This is how it looks like. I'll do a different one, but don't worry about that. And also you can have tag can have properties. Tag can have properties, and how we can actually support properties is that also we will look at it. Because HTML properties for input, now you have the various properties you have, or attribute that you have is say name, ID, right, value, something like that. So you define your own custom tag, then you need to have your own properties. Then you need to, in the tag handler Java class, you need to support, and the complete mechanism to support that particular thing we need to have. We need to implement that. So in the TLD also we need to change, we need to do some change in order to support. We'll discuss that particular part. So in order to have attributes for your tag, then I need to have one getter setter methods in the Java handler, and then in the TLD file also we need to have that particular attribute defined. And this is about evaluating body, but let us skip that evaluating body. Like, my idea of tag library is that you guys should get, and you should understand the required mechanism for building a tag library, are mostly to understand how these tag libraries are built. Then what happens is that you have some comfort in terms of when you are using something, you should know what that could mean, right? So I mean, actually, like, to continue, I mean, to look at TLD and then write some complex tags, that's, more like on the job stuff. So I'll limit the scope of this today's discussion to only uh, create a tag and attribute some, the properties. So let's say that, my custom property, let me call this as a custom property, equal to, maybe you want to say something like, say some value. Okay, custom value. Okay, so what I could do, then I want to have something like this. Okay, so for this to happen, for my custom library, so I have tag library, and in this tag, and see here, I have not seen the description. It doesn't matter, output is just for the information. And info name tag class. One sec, the attributes, where am I? The same place. And I must get okay. So what I'm saying is I need a custom property, and I'm saying that this is a mandatory property. So sorry, in the JSP, the property name should match. Yes. And in the handler that I'm doing, okay, what I need to do is private string custom property, and then do you have to understand, the complete logic, how it really works. Just this is not right. We are not like we are implementing a complex logic here, but what we are actually doing is we are trying to understand the mechanism how the tag library really works. So that's the important thing. So please pay attention to me. I mean, I'm writing Django code, but that should not really stop us from understanding The custom property value is, so suppose custom property, okay, and maybe that I can, there should be as a plain text, and the fine tuning, styles, other things we'll do. So what I'm doing is I'm just printing that, this is example tag, and also I'm printing the custom property value. Okay, that's a thing that I want to do in the tag library. So what I have is, yes, in the custom property, this is the Java change. Java, it's a plain Java code. So what I have is, it's there in the com.officeweb.tag, and the TLD is there in the webinf lib folder. See here, my tag.tld. You could name the TLD anything that you want, but only restriction is that you need to use the same thing in the page. See here, less than percentile taglib URI equal to webinf slash my taglib dot tld. Right. So now, because I added the property, let me see if running this application works. So while it actually starts up, so let me repeat this again. Tag libraries are primarily to stop, if some common logic is there, if I want to use it in multiple JSP files, instead of writing the same JavaScript, JSP scriptlet in multiple files, what we could do is that we could write, want to implement that in a tag library. And let me see if this guy has anything. Because and where is my tag?
You put in the register.dsp. So it's one of the registers.
Yeah. Thanks. That was thinking it is. Let's see here. It worked, right? Example tag. See here, example tag is the text that I wrote in the Java code, and then custom property value is custom value. Now let me change this value. I'll actually give you a small use case that you could implement. So this is, say, let me say Java. Okay, and let me redo this. See here. So this is a brief introduction about how we can implement a tag library. So what I'm actually doing here is, there is a TLD file. There is a TLD file, and this TLD file is there pretty much available in the code. Okay, I did commit that code yesterday itself, and then the particular handler, I call this as a, I don't like this warnings. Okay. So the handler, actually in the do start tag, you can write your code, and what I'm doing here is, I'm just printing a dummy text, and I say that HTML has2 and example tag, and then I'm saying the one that we implemented is custom property. So custom property logic is, I'm just displaying the custom value. See, the value comes nicely and sits here. So one simple use case that I can think of is that, say suppose the Java, in the beginning when we were learning Java, we did calculator logic, right? So you can pretty much create a tag. That's assignment for you. So what you guys can do is that create a tag in the similar line. So you'll have your, say suppose calculator tag or something like that, calculator tag.java. and you will have TLD in the similar pattern. But what actually the TLD should do is that my custom tag should do something like, um, maybe I want to have something like, say value 1. Okay, you have property as a value 1 equal to, say, suppose 10, and value 2 equal to 20, and say operation equal to add. Okay, so you need to do something like this. So just assume there are 3 different properties and then one operation, and based on the type of operation you need to do that logic in the server side, in the particular in the server side, and display the output. Meaning, in the tag what I need to do is I will have 2 different, now what the names that I gave is what, the value 1 and value 2, right? So here I will have value 1, say private string, you can string value 1 private, string value 2 private, string operation. Okay, and I'll have getter setters for this particular thing. You can generate getter setters, or you can even write using generate getter setters in the Eclipse. In the right click source, generate getters and setters, and in the do start tag what you need to do is that you write your logic there. Now say that if the operation is something, okay, option dot equal string, you can improve on this. Okay, say suppose add, and then what you do is you integer dot percent value 1 into, maybe you say that and value, say v1, because value 1 is already there. Similarly what you can do is integer dot int v2 equal to integer dot percent value 2, then int result equal to v1 plus v2, and display the output of the result in the tag library. Sorry, the output out dot print, and say that the add operation value is that. You can do that. Okay, there is an assignment for you when you do it on your own, because whatever I did is works as a small reference, and if you can do this particular thing, you will have some comfort in building tag libraries. So why do we aim for tag? We build tag libraries. The first reason is that to avoid duplication, code duplication. If I need the same logic, suppose multiple JSP files, okay, and we can actually pretty much copy paste the same JSP scriptlet, but there is too much of duplication. And if say suppose I wrote 10 lines of JSP scriptlet in my registration JSP, and then I needed in some other, say 4 5 JSP files, so I can pretty much copy paste this particular logic in other pages, fine. But then how about the maintenance? Tomorrow there is some bug we discovered in the code, and we fix it in one particular page, say suppose register.jsp, we fix it. But if the bug is reported only on the register.jsp, then maybe that the particular developer may not know that, okay, the same logic is used in a number of places, and he may not fix elsewhere. So that will create problem. So in that way, JSPs, the tag libraries are nice way of wrapping of your Java code into tag, dynamically, and that gets the common code. It's like you write the handler, you write the tag library and use it in from any JSP. So if there is any bug I need to fix, I know I need to fix only in the handler, and wherever that tag is used, that gets fixed by default. So that is the advantage we get. Okay, the tag libraries are a very nice thing that could have happened to JSPs. And most of the third-party frameworks, if we really look at it, they do have a lot of tag libraries, and to make a nice user interface, there are a lot of tag libraries available, and as you progress, maybe the job that you are working, you will have some set of tag libraries used, and you need to understand how they might have been implemented. And sometimes you need to figure out you need to fix a bug or something like that. Then if you understand the complete flow, it is easy for you to fix the bug. I mean, it is not that only third-party tag libraries are there. Every company who are actually working with the front-end JSP part, they might had their own tag library code base. So something like that we are doing. So they may be having handlers, they may be having their TLD file, and they may be using that in the JSP. So that's about I mean, this is actually a very brief introduction about tag libraries, and whatever we did is we wrote, see here, we wrote your tag, example tag that extends tag support. And where is the tag support? So the set of classes are available from Java X.Servlet. I think it goes into this particular thing. Let me see here. Yeah, see here, Java X.Servlet.jsp.tag extension tag ext dot tag support. And also, what is the other class that we can use to support to evaluate the body itself, the body of a tag?
Body tag support.
Yeah, body tag support. Excellent. Body tag support. So that's actually, you can explore that particular part. And okay, now actually let me revisit the model view controller logic. Model view controller logic. How we implement model view controller logic is, see, um, in the Office web, what I did is that I placed my JSP files into a private area, that is web.inf pages, and user cannot access the JSPs directly. Okay, that we saw already. So suppose if I right click, and even you can do that in your computer. Say this home.jsp, and if I click and run, and it says page not found, right? So 404 error. And one more thing, actually, when I see this error, you could actually in the web.xml configure what response you want to show for a 404 error on the server. I mean, you can customize the 404 error message. Usually what happens, in the hacking and all, people prefer, people actually, like, we are giving, if someone knows that, okay, there is some weakness in the Tomcat server, where you can actually, maybe that the username, password or something like that. So that server administrator or something, you have the Tomcat or manager, right? So maybe that people want to hack using that particular thing and redeploy their application, deploy their application, or undeploy your application or something like that. So if they want to do something of that sort, first thing what they need is, they need to know what server your application is using. Okay, and now I look at this particular HTTP response. I see that Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, and it's given the version of the Tomcat server, right? And if you see this in the internet, that means that people are clear that, okay, this guy using Tomcat, and this guy using this particular version of the Tomcat, and that is not really good for your application safety. So sorry. What you need to really do is you need to configure a different page. And let me see here how to configure a JSP page in the oops. Okay, this is in a different one, but I guess I get some input here. Oh, I don't really, this is not a something web application. I think we should be doing something in the web.xml, in the web data context variables or let's I don't like this. We should be setting some property. In the web.xml, oops, 404 web.xml. Yeah, this is what you need to do. Let me change this. And I can actually say maybe some JSP page. This is a problem. Does not exist in the content. So what we will do is I'll create a 40 page. Hey, that shows this looks nice, right? How come I got this? You are not having these particular styles, right? This mechanism, right? Jimmy, do you? Here it actually see it.
No,
No, right?
no.
Okay. I think I installed one plugin. I'll tell you the plugin details. I wanted actually you guys to install it. Home. See here. This guy is showing all the elements and all in a presentation. I mean, this looks somewhat better. You can figure out if some element is missing or not. I installed a plugin that's actually for Hibernate tools. I was installing. Something. Now see. Nice. Okay. I guess I need to redeploy that particular part. So, in which web.xml I modified. This is correct. So let me run this. Okay. I hope you don't mind that I'm mixing multiple things. I was talking about oops. And why? No, JSP is there. Okay. Sometimes some problem with this Eclipse is that it tend not to refresh the contents. That's a big problem. I hope it works now. This oh, okay. In invalid error page. Change to ignore JSP during. Oh, that's about. It exists in the web content, right? It does exist. So this is correct approach only. It's only that the Eclipse is doing some magic here. Otherwise, this should be working. Let me give it a try once more. Or okay. So as it comes up, the model view controller logic have been trying to sell that idea seriously, and that's basically all about protect your JSPs. Let the access to the JSPs be minimal unless you really like if it is a home or like home.jsp or something like that, an index page. In that case, yes, it is pretty much fine that you can have the JSPs accessible, but generally whatever data dependent JSPs, look at the register.jsp file that we made. Sorry, we need the designation and department, right? So the values are actually we are getting it from the database dynamically, and if you only allow the user to see register.jsp page without this dynamic data, then the registration will not be complete because he will be missing department ID and designation ID for the particular employee. And also we were discussing about this is the one. We were discussing about adding the manager ID as well. Did any one of you tried that? Adding manager ID to the registration page? Somehow I did not like this. There should be some simpler way of fixing it. And here and see, it's not my problem, it is the browser problem. And see the page, this is coming right, the 404 message is coming properly. And in case of IE, this stupid guy is showing a standard error message, IE 404 error message the moment it is facing the particular response. So such as this is working. Is this clear? Right? And it actually like means that I mean what you can do is you can actually, instead of a JSP, what you can do is you can forward it to a servlet, so that you are redirect to a servlet. Then the URL actually looks like office web slash page not found or something like that. Okay, and then the response, by looking at the URL, then you will not be able to figure out which server it is, or you can customize the particular error message, right? So this is about actually the 404, or you can even for 500 error messages also, if you want to hide that exception stack trace, you can pretty much do that I mean, basically that is what expected in the production websites. You don't want to show all your Java. I mean, it says that, exception occurred in so and so line caused by another exception, in another Java file in some particular location kind of thing. You don't want to show that kind of things, right? So that's about I mean, that particular thing. So coming back to the model view controller, my intention of model view controller is um, let your servlet be the controller. The way you configure your servlets, you configure the servlets in the web.xml, right? So now let user access only the servlets. When I say that, see here, home.servlet, if I run this home.servlet and I just access, I say that, test one, and I never see any JSP anywhere, and the flow looks cleaner for me because I never see any JSP and all the dynamic data is generated and it is pretty much fine. I'm happy. Also, in case of a login page, if I just hit a login, okay, this is actually redoing a register. Okay, and let me see if I type login. So, say if this is my home page, suppose what I'm doing is I clicking here and it goes to the registration page, and nowhere I see in the URL, nowhere I see a .jsp extension, right? So the benefit is that any dynamic data that you are going to have, okay. So select manager is empty, okay. So this particular thing need to be, I mean, maybe that there is no data. I'm not sure. I need to check the code. Okay, so the values are getting dynamically populated, and when your tag library is working here. Okay, so that is the idea actually. So let your controller, that is the servlet is the controller, and let it actually do the controlling the flow. If I type, suppose if I type home page, if I type home, it is going to, oops, okay. Ideally, I think this is actually coming from the request attribute, I guess. So that's the reason I'm getting as null. Ideally, it should come from the session. We need to fix that in the JSP. Fine. So if see when I do this, what is happening is that home servlet is checking whether the session is active or not. If the session is not active, then it is sending to login page. If not, it is displaying this page. So that there is a controlling, there is a validation stuff, right? And also it can talk to the database. Now if we just do the register page, register, what I'm doing is we are talking to the database. I'm populating the data from the database, right? And JSP is only for the presentation. There is a model view controller, model view and controller. Controller is the servlet, right? View is the presentation, that is the JSP file, and model is the data. So now I see that development and developer, the departments and designations, I see them here, and that is the data. So how the flow comes is that now I think I should drag this little. Okay, so first okay, so if this is JSP and say if this is so presentation, and say suppose there is a user here, okay, and you have your database here. Okay, so user, the request, let me type browser user, And here is servlet db and JSP. So the flow always works like, the user hit the servlet, and servlet will do validations, and if required it will go to the database, it will populate the data, and then control comes to JSP, and JSP is rendered to the user. This is the model view controller. And here if I say controller is equal to servlet, then model equal to data, then view equal to JSP. So that's the overall flow. This is called model view controller. Model view controller is a design pattern how you represent your applications. Okay. So that is what I wanted to cover in our training. So far what we learned is that we started with learning the alphabets of Java, like the database types, the basic data types, the basic programming logic. Then we looked at object-oriented concepts, class, object, inheritance, polymorphism. Then we looked at threads, we looked at exceptions, we looked at collections, we looked at Java swings, how we build the user interface. Then we also looked at JDBC application. JDBC, I think we looked at bit extensive, and then we looked at building web applications, right? Servlets, JSPs, and then we touch based HTML, JavaScript, cascading style sheets, CSS, and now we are discussing about model view controller. So that's my flow. That's how I wanted to do the training. So you have any questions?